You think fear is something you feel. It isn't, not first. Before you name it, before you recognize it, before a single conscious thought forms about what's happening around you, your body has already made a decision, a biological decision. And the first thing it does with that decision is shut something down. Not slowly, not gradually, within seconds. And here's what nobody ever tells you about that moment. The system your body shuts down first is not the one you'd expect. It's not your muscles, it's not your focus, it's not even your ability to think clearly. It's the one system that was quietly keeping everything else running. Most people spend their entire lives experiencing this shutdown and never once understanding what it actually is. They feel the result, that sudden hollowness, that strange distance from their own body, that moment where everything familiar feels slightly out of reach, and they call it fear. They call it panic. They move on. But what your body just did in those seconds is one of the most sophisticated biological operations in your entire nervous system. And the system it shut down first tells you something permanent about how you're actually built. Here's exactly what's happening inside you the moment fear arrives, and why understanding it changes everything about how you read your own reactions. It begins before the feeling reaches you, deep inside your brain. There is a structure smaller than your thumbnail that has been running the same program for hundreds of millions of years. It doesn't think. It doesn't analyze. It pattern matches at a speed your conscious mind cannot approach. The moment it detects something that resembles a threat in its evolutionary archive, it fires. Within 12 milliseconds of that signal, faster than you can blink your brain's threat detection center sends a direct alert to your brain's command center. Your brain's command center controls temperature, energy distribution, hormone release, and the coordination of every major biological system you have. And the moment it receives that alert, it does something most people never learn about. It makes a choice about resources. Your body runs on a fixed energy budget. Every system that operates inside you costs something. And when a threat signal arrives, your brain's command center immediately begins redirecting that budget away from systems it classifies as non-essential and toward the systems it classifies as survival critical. The first system it shuts down is your digestive system. It's not partially, significantly. Within 30 seconds of threat detection, blood flow to your digestive tract decreases by up to 70%. The muscles lining your digestive organs stop their rhythmic contractions. Enzyme production drops. The entire processing operation your body was running on your last meal essentially pauses. This is why your stomach turns when you're scared. This is why your mouth goes dry. This is why food suddenly feels impossible when something frightening enters your awareness. Your body didn't malfunction. It executed a resource reallocation that has been keeping organisms alive for longer than your mind can meaningfully imagine. But here's what makes this even more interesting. Your digestive system isn't just processing food. Research now shows it houses more nerve cells than your entire spinal cord, approximately 500 million nerve cells. Running a continuous two-way conversation with your brain, scientists call this your gut's nervous system. And when fear shuts down your digestive system, it doesn't just stop digestion. It silences one of the most important information channels your body has. Think about the last time you felt genuinely scared. Not startled, but truly scared. What happened in your stomach first? Before you fully understood what was frightening you, before your mind caught up. Because that sensation was your body's second brain going offline. And it happened before you had a single word for what you were feeling. Here's where it gets deeper. And this is the part that changes how you understand your entire nervous system. Your body doesn't just shut down digestion when fear arrives. It executes a precise, sequenced shutdown across multiple systems, and the order of that sequence tells you exactly what your biology considers expendable versus essential. Within 45 seconds of threat detection, your immune system enters a state researchers call acute suppression. Not a complete shutdown, a strategic one. Your body stops allocating energy to long-term immune maintenance and redirects those resources toward immediate physical readiness. Studies show that your immune system's first-line defense activity decreases. Measurably within 60 seconds of acute stress activation, your body essentially tells your immune system, whatever you are managing can wait. At the 90-second mark, your reproductive system receives a similar signal. Hormone production shifts. Biological processes associated with long-term health maintenance are paused in favor of short-term survival output. This is why chronic fear states are so profoundly disruptive to long-term biological health, not because fear itself is harmful, but because a system designed for brief activation is being held open indefinitely. Meanwhile, the systems your body considers essential are receiving everything. Your cardiovascular system accelerates. Your adrenal glands release adrenaline directly into your bloodstream. Within 3 seconds, your heart rate climbs. Blood is pulled from your skin and digestive tract and pushed toward your large muscle groups. Your liver releases stored glucose. Your lungs expand their capacity. Your pupils widen to increase your visual field. By the time you consciously register that something frightened you, typically between 300 and 500 milliseconds after the initial threat signal, your body has already completed the first 3 phases of its survival protocol. You felt the result. But the mechanism had been running for nearly half a second before you named what was happening. Has anyone ever told you that your physical reaction to fear was weakness? That the way your body responded in a frightening moment meant something was wrong with you? Because what actually happened in those seconds was your nervous system executing one of the most precisely engineered biological programs ever developed. Nothing went wrong. Everything worked exactly as it was built to. Now here is where this connects directly to the life you are living right now. Your fear response was designed for a world that no longer exists. It was built for moments that resolved. Physical threat appeared. Your body activated, you responded. The threat passed. Your systems came back online. Digestion resumed. Immune function restored. Hormone balance returned. The entire shutdown and restore cycle completed in minutes. What modern life has created is structurally different. It's threats that never fully resolve. Situations that keep your threat detection system partially engaged hour after hour, day after day, not at full activation, but never fully off. Deadlines that carry the biological weight of physical danger. Conversations that register in your nervous system as survival-level stakes. Social pressure that your brain's command center cannot distinguish from a predator in your environment. Research tracking stress hormone and adrenaline levels across 8-week periods shows that individuals living under sustained low-grade threat activation show measurably suppressed digestive function, reduced immune response efficiency, and altered sleep architecture even without a single acute fear event during that window. Your body is running the shutdown protocol on a continuous loop. Not fully, not dramatically, but enough. By week 4 of sustained activation, your gut's nervous system begins showing measurable changes in its communication patterns with your central nervous system. The two-way conversation that normally runs continuously between your gut and your brain becomes less fluid, less precise. The information your digestive system was feeding your brain about your internal state starts arriving with less clarity. You feel this as a kind of background noise you can't locate, a low-level unease that doesn't have a clear source, sense that something is slightly off, but you can't name what it is. That is not anxiety as a personality trait. That is your gut's nervous system operating in a partially suppressed state because your brain's command center never received the signal that the threat had passed. And here's what almost nobody explains. The resolution signal your body is waiting for is not the absence of the threatening thing. It is a specific biological input, a genuine return to safety that your nervous system can register at the cellular level. Without that input, the shutdown continues. The systems stay partially offline, and the biological cost quietly compounds over weeks and months. When was the last time your body felt genuinely safe? Not just distracted, not just busy, but actually safe at a biological level. That question has a more specific answer than most people expect. This is the part that changes how you see yourself permanently. Every time your body shut down in a frightening moment, every time your stomach dropped, your appetite vanished, your mouth went dry, your hands went cold, you were not experiencing a failure of composure. You were not revealing something fragile about your character. You were not proving that you couldn't handle pressure. You were watching a biological system execute a protocol that evolution spent hundreds of millions of years refining, precisely, efficiently, on your behalf, without your permission and without your instruction. The shutdown your body runs when fear arrives is not a sign that something is wrong with you. It is evidence that your survival architecture is functioning exactly as it was designed to function. Every system that goes offline in that moment goes offline for a specific biological reason. Every resource that gets redirected toward keeping you alive and capable of response. Research tracking individuals with high-pressure occupations, surgeons, first responders, competitive athletes, consistently shows that the biological fear response in these individuals is not smaller than average. What distinguishes high performers in high-fear environments is not a body that responds less. It is a nervous system that has developed a more efficient relationship with the activation, one that moves through the response cycle more completely and returns to baseline more efficiently. The goal was never to stop the shutdown. The goal was always to understand what was shutting down and what your body needed to bring it back online. By the time your fear response peaks, typically 3 to 5 minutes after activation, your body has already begun its restoration. Stress hormone levels stabilize, blood flow redistributes, your digestive system comes back online. The shutdown was never meant to be permanent. It was meant to be precise, temporary, and followed by full restoration. Every time you judged yourself for that shutdown, every time you read it as a limitation, you were translating the signal into the wrong language. Your body wasn't telling you that you were too sensitive. It was telling you that something significant had been detected, and it responded with everything it had, exactly as it was built to. Your body shut that system down before you knew you were scared, before you named it. Before a single conscious thought formed, your brain's command center had already redirected your resources and begun executing a protocol refined across hundreds of millions of years. That hollow feeling in your stomach, that sudden distance from your own body, that wasn't fear breaking you down. That was your biology coming fully online. Every system that went offline on purpose. Every sensation you felt was your body communicating in the only language it knows. You were never falling apart. You were running the most ancient program your body has. It was always biology. It's executing exactly what it was built to. Every single time. And what runs underneath all of this? That one changes everything.